Hey, all you Arizona lovers. Welcome back to the Finding Arizona podcast, episode number 352. I'm your host, Jose. In a little bit of a rush and kind of an oopsie daisy on my end, I accidentally called an episode that it wasn't supposed to be called. So I'm back with a new intro introducing to you the Foundation for Senior Living. I've been calling it the Arizona Helping Hands, and it's only because they were back to back when we recorded, and we were just, we're just such a surrounding group of entities of like nonprofits coming our way, and it's just so great that we have an uber amount of people who want to be on our episodes. It's just sometimes I get a little mixed up when I'm editing, and that's on me, but I am back here to make sure that everything is all clarified. This is episode number 352 with the Foundation of Senior Living and with Tammi, who is wonderful to talk to, an incredible individual, and she has a really big heart. I hope that all of you go out to seek every episode and their bio we provide with every episode, so you can also follow us at Finding Arizona Podcast at all of our links, which is findingarizonapodcast.com, to our website, and Finding Arizona Podcast all under social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We want to know what you guys and who you guys want in next, so please always let us know. You can always find Ray making sure that she's always in the shot no matter what, and she's always in every episode, so you can catch her behind me. And I encourage you guys to just, again, connect with us. Let us know who you want in next, and let us know so that we can become better community members and better connectors for you. That every episode's been so incredible, and we've got more coming down the pipeline. I'm just so swarmed with people who want to do more business with us and do more episodes with us. So that being said, let's just jump into it. Episode number 352 with, saying this right now, the Foundation for Senior Living. I want to make sure that I get this right. The organization is a really great provider, and we hope that you guys always, again, check and help those links in the bio. See you on the next episode. Welcome back, everybody, to the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose. As always, we bring in wonderful guests, and today is no different. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce you to Tamra, who is the FSL President and Chief CEO. FSL is a registered 501c organization whose mission is to provide home and community-based service and develop energy efficient, affordable housing to promote health, independence, and dignity for all. I love that. It's just lovely reading, and thank you again, Tammi, for coming aboard.
Well, it's my pleasure to join you and talk about FSL and what we do in the state of Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've just recently started, I believe, as the president and CEO.
I am coming up on a year now. It has
Nice.
flown by. So yes, I have known about FSL, oh gosh, for almost 20 years, and was just really blessed to join the team as I call myself the servant in chief. Um,
No.
because I believe leaders, our ultimate job is to give our teammates what they need, the resources they need to put our mission into action and serve our participants, our residents, our participants, and members.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to go ahead and just ask you this kind of question that we routinely ask everyone, is just give us how you came to this particular moment in your life, and just kind of, we love to hear the origin story of like how you went from just, your typical everyday life, probably from college to all the way here, and how this kind of came about.
Sure, sure. Well, I have been working in the nonprofit space for almost 30 years, maybe even a little bit more now. And I have my degree in journalism.
Mhm.
I'm a California transplant, and
Ah,
love to communicate. I really believe communication is the key and the essence to everything,
yeah.
and have just spent my career working for a variety of nonprofit organizations. I started at a chamber of commerce and worked my way into a health nonprofit. And then I got into the faith-based space. And my faith is very important to me. I grew up in a family that believed in giving back and
Mhm.
had parents role model that. So saw that from an early age and decided that was my path.
That's
And
awesome.
moved to Arizona in 2001 and have been in the nonprofit space here the whole time, just leading and wanting to find solutions to issues that keep people from, having the fullest life possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So you brought a lot to the table there, and I know I just kind of want to pick at a couple of notes
Sure.
there. And California, what part of California?
So I grew up in the Central Valley of California, the Central Coast, and then the Central Valley. And I went to Fresno State University. I'm a Bulldog.
Nice, nice. My wife is from San Diego, so she
Okay.
went to San Luis Obispo,
Oh,
and so she enjoyed that. And I've never been to that like particular. I've only been as far north as San Fran and just been around the area there. So I particularly love a lot of the coastal area of California. And I also am a landscape architect, so I very much enjoy the vegetation, all of the trees and all of the different plant life that's out in California.
it is beautiful. It is spectacular in different ways that our desert landscape is just as spectacular, but just a
Unique.
little
I
bit
like to,
different.
yeah,
Yes,
unique,
yes,
very unique. So let me go ahead and just pick at, you coming and doing the nonprofit area and just kind of reaching into your kind of area of your parents and just kind of like them instilling that into your life and just kind of give us a little bit. What is that particularly like, where there are a lot of place or time in your life, donating your time to different organizations. What did that look like for you? What does the holidays look like for you guys? Do you guys donate your time there?
sure. So, from the earliest age, I just remember my mom and dad giving back to the community. And
Yeah.
my dad was president of the Chamber of Commerce and was always out, you know, building awareness and, working barbecues and fundraisers, things like that. And
Yeah.
I can remember as a young child, my mom would help organize dinners or fundraisers.
Mhm.
So she was always the decoration queen, I guess you can say, creating the theme. And our house was full of all this spectacular stuff that she would put her time into to make these events really, really memorable and stand out.
Yeah.
And so I have those memories. My dad was an usher at church. He instilled the importance of us tithing and giving of our treasure as well as our time. So
Beautiful.
as kids, we would do food drives or deliver food baskets. It just it didn't seem um, it just was part of everyday life. It just was
Yeah.
what we did. It wasn't unusual. We were helping people who were our brothers and sisters.
I love
So
it. That's one of the things that I always kind of with those types of family, like, those instilled values just don't seem like it's just everyday life. And it's, what you guys do on an everyday weekend basis is just donate your time and your efforts to helping, yeah, your community. And I always love those, I know a couple of people like that, and I try and do my best to donate my time. And I always feel like this is particularly important to me when it comes to the nonprofit side that comes into our podcast. Is I love saying like, yeah, like that's how, particularly I love helping out in the sense of hearing the stories and understanding the mission. And yeah, so thank you again for giving me insight into that, because I think it is important because you're coming from your understanding of your history and who you are inside of your, and I love hearing that because this job isn't just a job, it's a passion. And so it means a lot to me, you telling me this story, because I picture in my mind like that is that you and your parents barbecuing, fundraisers, dinners that help others, on top of, you as a child probably going around during the holidays and just donations, setting up little things like lemonade stands, anything and everything. And it's just really great to see that it comes from a place of history and passion and instilled values. So, again, I really do believe that understanding the story, and this comes from my own history. I grew up on an Indian reservation, and so that's where my instilled value of like the stories are important. the people, every person has that like story that they value most, and it's up to us as the listener to reach down and ask for it, or at least reach down and request it and hear it, from the teller's mouth. So yeah, I think that's where this kind of podcast kind of comes into my values, is just everyone deserves a chance to be heard. So thank you.
Oh, I'm grateful that you're giving me this opportunity, but I love your message. And I think what's really important is everybody has gifts. So
Yeah.
they may be able to go out and be like my mom and create these spectacular fundraising events, or they may be someone who can visit, be the, work on the program side of nonprofits. And that's, oh man, I've worked with some amazing folks and work today with some amazing folks. I could never do that. I love
Yeah.
telling the stories. I love raising the resources, but to be able to do what my colleagues do to actually help to bring the mission to life. So everybody, to me, I love that you do this podcast because everybody has different gifts,
Yeah.
and maybe you'll recognize them in listening to my story or another guest story. So thanks
Thank you.
for thanks
Thank
for
you.
putting this out there.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful to kind of, yeah, I recognize it. I take the moment to recognize it too. Every time I finish an episode, it's just like, again, I kind of let everyone on the insights, like, I really do appreciate every guest, because it's really time out of their day, and just really it takes a lot of effort for them to just come in and want to divulge, is the word, as I like to
Mhm.
say. And so it's important, though, I think, to have someone who cares enough to listen, and I'm that person, and I really do value my own spot, like my where I'm at. So I don't take it for granted, and I really do value every story.
I love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
uh so let's move forward. I would love to understand the the strategic planning behind a lot of kind of this aspect of where you come from, and that's something that kind of comes up in a note of mine, and just who you are. Is strategic planning has always been kind of a gift and something that you're passionate about. I'd love to understand more about that, like what in itself is something that you get from it. Like, where does, like, what's, is it a happiness, is it a joy, is it like something that you get fed from the strategic planning?
Sure. So maybe 15 years ago, I met this incredible person. Her name is Karen Marin, and she did strategic planning for the Diocese of Phoenix.
Hmm.
And I worked for a school, and she did a strategic plan for our school board.
Okay.
I was fascinated at just how she was able to take this group of people who met monthly and had a passion of the school. Maybe we all had different ideas,
Hmm.
but she, in a 3 session period, got us all on the same page and working toward it. It just was amazing to me. So at that point, I was just curious, and I would pepper her with questions and realized I wanted to do some of what she was doing, just because she helped people put their arms around what was in front of them and how to create solutions going forward.
Hmm.
Um, and have a plan. And it didn't stop there. She had suggestions. I think one of the reasons I love strategic planning so much is it's a plan, but if it sits in a file folder in your desk drawer or in a file on your computer that you never open up, it's not really doing you any good. So
Hmm.
it's the accountability piece. So you've got this plan, and then how do you revisit it, and how do you change and tweak it?
Yeah.
Maybe what you said you were going to do 6 months ago isn't relevant anymore. I think about all the strategic plans that were out there, and then March of 2020 hit, and everything shifted. So for me, it is I'm solutions focused, and
Yeah.
strategic planning helps you focus on those solutions and really see the impact of your plan, of your work, of your mission.
Hmm.
And anyway, it was Karen Marin who kind of lit that bug in me. So shout out to her. She's a
Yeah.
fabulous lady. And then I took a couple classes. I'm a big believer I try and read 20 minutes each day, something
Oh,
new.
well, yeah, nice.
Um, to help me to learn, that lifelong learning aspect.
Absolutely.
And I've had a couple opportunities to give back and donate my time to lead strategic planning for a couple nonprofits and a couple fundraising groups, just so they can get on track. If you're
Yeah.
struggling and you don't know what to do, let's do a SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, opportunities, threats? And you
Yes.
build it from there and then you work the plan. It's there's a saying, I'm not going to get it right, but uh, a wish or a hope without a plan, it's just that it's a wish. But when
Mm-hmm.
you put actions and steps, what am I going to do, how am I going to guide, how am I going to follow up and include other people, that's the other key piece. Is
Yeah.
That's what I think I loved about the strategic planning processes that I've been through. You bring people together. They might not have realized that they had common ground or common interests, or that they could, they come from two totally different departments or two totally different worlds, but they're coming together for a common reason. So it
Yeah.
just draws people together. Community is so important. Um, it just, to me, it's the backbone of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think strategic plannings help strengthen the communities that they serve and the communities that are doing the serving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you brought to the table here today is just something very, very value in my heart is just again, one of the basic needs that humans of every shape, size, and color need is a home, is a place to call for themselves. And I'd love to just kind of pivot just a little bit back to FSL
Sure.
and just thank you again. And you brought up the March of 2020, and just love to understand what happened to FSL during that time of the pandemic. What did you guys have to do to allow yourselves to be here today?
Sure. Well, I wasn't with the team then,
Totally
but
fine.
have certainly heard and witnessed and have a good understanding because we're coming out of it. We're still coming out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we run 3 adult day health centers.
Hmm.
So a lot of people might think, okay, that's adult daycare. It's not adult daycare. It's medical model. It's a place where someone who has a chronic illness, who's aging, a neurodivergent condition, can go and have socialization, have medical care, restorative therapy,
Hmm.
and it gives their caregiver a break too.
Yeah.
So we had to pause all 3 of those centers,
Wow.
and it impacted. We had to quickly shift, check in virtually. We had a large home care program that we paused. It's still on pause, and we're trying to determine now. Okay, what do we do? How do we do that? Because coming out of the pandemic, people worked remotely.
Hmm.
About two-thirds to three-quarters of our workforce at FSL are team members. They can't work, they can't work remotely. They're hands on their direct care staff at our
Yeah.
centers or at our behavioral health homes. So the hiring crisis has definitely impacted us. And we've shifted and how we're inviting people to come join our team. We want passionate members to who can relate to our core values to come
Yeah.
be a part of what FSL's mission is in delivering that. So we had to pause those programs. They're back. All 3 centers are open. I'm really pleased.
Wonderful.
They're all open. Our homes are going. They're licensed medical facilities,
Hmm.
so we still take precautions, and all of our team members wear masks, and we invite our participants, whatever their comfort level is. But we're still very cognizant and aware of not just COVID, but this winter, the flu and
The flu. Yeah.
RSV. And, life isn't, we're never going to go back to life before 2020,
Yeah,
and
I
do
think we're
things.
just more aware of the benefits of, sometimes the issues are that bacterial, like again, it's just a face mask will help, and certain other strategies, cleanliness, all of these things, we're just more aware of it. And so I don't think we're going to allow ourselves to be forgotten of that
Right.
time. And so I think that strategically, um, instilling some of those certain values or certain things that we were used to, either with the maybe face mask or, sanitization, all of those types of things that, we're never going to go away from. I think that's just an understanding that is just going to be put into and have to be restructured into every business, every interaction, so to speak, those types of understandings. But I do think that you brought something that I would love to talk about is when adding a team member and just those core values. Some of the things that love to just kind of understand is those four areas that are essential to FSL, or like the
Sure.
safe home, nutritious meals, health and wellness, and education. Can you give us a little bit more understanding of those four and what they bring?
Sure, sure. So we deliver about 20 different programs across the state of Arizona. We cover the whole state, and they all fall into one of those four pillars, or maybe they live in both pillars. So our safe
Yeah.
homes, FSL since the 80s has been a provider, a nonprofit developer of affordable housing, and we have actually about 1,000 units across the state. I think 25 different properties, and they're focused on affordable housing for seniors.
Hmm.
And then we've got a couple projects that have room for folks who have neurodivergent conditions, such as autism or, some cognitive challenges.
Sure.
And anyway, these affordable housing is a huge challenge in our state.
Yes.
We lack 270,000 affordable housing units. You can't pass a day without hearing or reading something about homelessness. And what's concerning to me is the high number of seniors who are
Mm-hmm.
falling into homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Their income isn't allowing them to live as our rents rate, right, increase.
Mm-hmm.
So affordable housing has been a passion from the start, and it continues to be a passion. And FSL wants to be a part of that solution to find and create more affordable housing. And it's not just the housing at FSL. We want to add that extra layer to uphold someone's dignity and respect with love and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And that means providing services and connecting with our residents, our participants, and members. So affordable housing falls under that safe homes. We also have 17 homes throughout Maricopa County, and it's a behavioral health program. So folks join us and they have a diagnosis of serious mental illness, and we work with them to give them the skills that they need so
Yeah.
that possibly they can live independently. Um,
Beautiful.
so it's providing that safe home. And then also in our safe homes category is we do a lot of energy efficiency and weatherization programs for multifamily homes as well as individual homes.
Nice.
So many of the programs are income qualified. You talk to your city or town, APS, SRP, are big supporters. Southwest Gas are big supporters of that. They work with us, and we provide energy efficiency and weatherization programs. And this is why it falls into safe homes and why it's so important. A mom got a new air conditioner through a program that FSL operates and is funded by county dollars, state dollars, and the utilities. So
Yeah.
we partner with everybody.
Yeah.
Partnership is key. She got this new air conditioning unit for the first time, and as long as she could remember, her energy bill was no longer $800. So she could afford to buy school clothes for her children, backpacks, all of that. So to me, we made her home safe. We made
Yeah.
to energy efficiency and weatherization. If you're a senior and you have COPD, so a lung issue,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have an energy efficient home, you might have to go to the hospital a couple times a year. So if we invest and we get a new air conditioner, weatherize, make that home energy efficient,
Hmm.
we're gonna make that home healthy, and that
Yeah.
person's not gonna go into the hospital as often. So that's our Save Homes program. Our nutritious meals is we run senior centers in Peoria and Wickenburg. And part of those senior centers, besides the socialization, is we offer congregate meals
Hmm.
Monday through Friday. And it's socialization, a healthy meal that's affordable
Yeah.
for a senior. We never turn anyone away if they can't make that small donation. And we also do home delivered meals.
Oh.
So we saw a huge rise in the pandemic. We'll take us back to early pandemic times. I think in Peoria, the requests for food from those home delivered congregate and their food pantries at all that site rose 120%.
Wow.
So really think about how you operate. There's, we get that saying that's been going around that I'm hangry. I haven't eaten, so I'm a little hangry. Well, or you get lightheaded. So we want to make sure our seniors are taken care of and they have healthy and nutritious meals, that they're
Yes.
not, all they can afford is fast food or something that's got high fat or high sodium. Because let's face it, as we age, our health becomes key. Conditions like high blood pressure,
Mhm.
diabetes are, they're more prevalent.
Yes.
So that's
Absolutely.
our nutritious meals component, and then our health and wellness. That's just our community based and our home care programs. So we provide nurses to go into the homes of ventilator patients.
Hmm.
Ventilator patients need eyes on them 24/7.
Yes.
So we have nurses that go in and take a shift, give a caregiver relief, allow a caregiver to have independence, maybe stay working, and uphold the dignity and respect with, again, love and compassion. You're going to hear that a lot from me
Yeah.
for the folks who are participants in that program. Our adult day health centers, we call them recreation because it's a place to go have recreation. You can recreate your life. It's just, they're amazing facilities.
Yeah.
Um, that's all about providing health and wellness. And then we work with Dignity Hospital. We partner with the Dignity Health Hospitals, and
Mhm.
we run a program called Activate, where we work with people who are underinsured or uninsured. And as they exit the hospital with a certain condition, our social workers work with them to make sure they have the durable medical goods, they have everything they need to stay healthy
Mhm.
and not go back into the hospital. So that's one of our amazing community health and wellness programs. And then we also have a program called Care by Design.
Mhm.
And that falls into our caregiver support and that community health and wellness. So during the pandemic, we pivoted and we worked those Care by Design coordinators, really worked with people to find rent, utility, and mortgage assistance.
Mhm.
And I'm really proud that through partnering with a lot of different organizations and government funds, we distributed just last year $15 million to people
Wow.
to help them continue to survive as we moved out of the pandemic. So, but
Mhm.
Care by Design, a goal this year, a strategic goal this year is to shift back into that care coordination.
Mhm.
So, say you have a loved one that has recently been diagnosed with dementia or maybe COPD,
Mhm.
or you've got a loved one who has a traumatic brain injury. E- any type of caregiving concern you have, you can call FSL and talk to one of our Care by Design coordinators. They're gonna help you find resources, whether it's through FSL or another community partner in the areas that we serve. That's our gift to the community, and it's important to us.
Mhm.
So we have a silver tsunami that's hitting us across the United States. And what that means is that by 2030, the last baby boomer will be 65.
Okay.
So think about that huge, the baby boom, that huge piece of our population. are all going to be 65 and above. Typically, in the US, there's always been this great number of youth coming up behind. That part of the population has always been the larger percentage.
Hmm.
So by 2035, it's going to be the first time in the population of the US that that's going to shift. There are going to be more people over the age of 65 than there are under the age of 18.
Mm.
So that group of folks who could come in and be caregivers or those helping, um, you know, roles that are out there, we don't have as many people to fill them.
Oh, though, yeah.
So it's a challenge. We need to figure out, what do we do? So our care by design is a way we want to gather resources. We want to see what do our communities need, so we can provide those services or come together with partners and create those opportunities.
Yes.
So with that silver tsunami that's hitting on affordable housing, um, I think FSL is really well positioned to continue to serve the state of Arizona as we grow in age and
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. Well, I
have.
mean, it's just incredible to hear that, like, I mean, as you stated, there is a ticking tsunami coming towards us, and the
Great.
fact that you have the wherewithal to like see that in the bigger picture alongside the many plates that you spin on a daily basis is just incredible, because there is going to be that need, and you're going to have to strategically build FSL to the point where it's going to be able to with withstand and withhold something like this big tsunami coming our way.
Right.
So I wish you luck, and again,
Thank you.
I have nothing but the highest regards for you there at FSL, and I appreciate everything that you've given us here today, because you've given us so much insight into the world that you participate in, and that is something that I find very interesting and very again, it's important to hear. So I'd like to kind of steer our conversation towards the future and just give us a
Sure.
little bit of guidance in what the goals are for not only 2023, but just kind of maybe a 5 or 10 year plan, because you are a planner and a strategic one, what that may be looking like and what you're trying to build to.
Sure. Well, we again, I've talked about affordable housing. We hope to continue to build more units of affordable housing. There's a
Okay.
need.
Yes.
And that's key for us. And then to have the services available. So we want to help people live independently for as long as they can,
Yes.
right? And we know that 87% of seniors want to live independently and stay in their own homes. So we want to have services that allow them to do that, whether it's our home health services, whether it's our recreation programs, whether it's our care by design. But it's to allow someone to live independently. There's that caregiver, right?
Mhm.
So we want to continue to grow our caregiver resources. And
Yes.
I would encourage folks to do that. We need to create more awareness of FSL. We've got some great resources that are all free on our website. Because here's the challenge, and this is a quote from Rosalind Carter:
Hmm.
there are only four kinds of people in this world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. So for me, as we work to look at FSL's future, we need to make sure we're taking care of the caregivers who are taking care of um, people who need that care. And
Hmm.
it's hard work, and it could be in a variety of situations. It's through our nutrition programs. It's through our affordable housing. It's through our energy efficiency and weatherization programs. It's
Hmm.
through programs like Activate. It's through helping people see housing is healthcare. So an exciting program that we're launching this year with funds from the Holly Family Foundation, the Diana Bruce Holly Foundation, is called Change, and we're embedding a navigator in one of our affordable housing communities so that they can work with the residents there and make sure, are you taking your blood pressure,
Hmm.
your glucose? Are you eating healthy? Are you
Yeah.
active? That kind of thing. So we're
Yeah.
trialing that, and we're working with an ASU that we're going to do some research and some evaluation. We're very excited about that because if we can create a model where we could embed a navigator in each of our affordable housing communities and offer it for other affordable housing communities. So again, we're all about making sure those you love can live independently. And it looks differently for everybody. So that's we just want to listen. You talked a lot about listening. We want to listen. What are the needs of our in the communities that we serve, and how do we come to the table to find solutions to meet those needs?
That's wonderful. Thank you so much again for allowing us to just take a peek behind the curtain and giving everything to us in a digestible kind of like 30-40 minutes here. But again, I've always been an advocate for listening, and I think it's important now more than ever, especially in a time after COVID. I kind of said there was a silver lining in this where a lot of people took the time to look inward, not only at their business but at themselves. That time where we pause, I think a lot of people had that opportunity to look inward and value and appreciate what is going on in the world. So I hope that in a sense, a lot of people came out of it as wanting to give back and help, and that's where I stand too. Is I've always wanted to help in my own way, and this is one of them. But allowing myself more time and opportunity to be more hands-on in certain areas, I have been trying my best and volunteering and doing things like that. But yeah, it's best for me to like just say, hey, look, I have this and this is fun and this is a great conversation to have with you, Tammi.
Well, I am grateful for the opportunity and thank you for taking that inward look and doing all the things that you do, and for not only listening but providing that role model for listening. So one of my favorite things that I learned, it wasn't too long ago, we have two of these and one of these for a reason.
I love it.
You need to rely more on these. So
Yes, yes,
Jose,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Tammi. And before we go, I always give the opportunity to let every business, nonprofit, promote yourself. Let us know where we can find you on the website or at a physical address, a phone number, anything event wise that you want to promote. This is your chance to really
Sure.
give FSL everything. So go ahead, Tammi.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Well, you can always find us at fsl.org. All kinds of information there. 602-285-1800. If you've got a question, you want to talk to one of our Care by Design coordinators, we have an opportunity. If we've piqued your interest and you want to learn more, on March 22nd, we have our Hope in Motion event. So one is a breakfast, one is a lunch. It is a free event. It is our job to inspire you to want to get more involved and invest in FSL. It's an hour long. It's held at the Phoenix Country Club. So you can call that number. There'll be information on our website, but I personally would love to invite all of Finding Arizona podcast listeners to come to Hope in Motion on March 22nd, 2023.
Thank you, Tammi. I appreciate it. And before we go, ladies and gentlemen, we always do our little outro here. You can hear every episode at our Finding Arizona podcast website, and we make it easy for everyone to listen to us. It's all under Finding Arizona, social media wise. And last but not least, we always say kisses, hugs, and belly rubs to our four-legged friends here, and we will always see you on the next episode. Have a good night, y'all.